Hello, my name is Evan at Roberts Pianos. You can see pianos like this I'm going to do in this video on our website robertspianoshouston.com/pianos for sale. You can email me with questions you have about pianos you're buying, and you can text me on the numbers below. It's a pleasure to serve you, and there's pictures and videos of the pianos we sell on our website robertspianoshouston.com. Thank you. 2008 Yamaha T121 that came into stock and about 7 days later sold. And this piano is in black polyester. It's very similar to U1. It's about the same height, roughly the same, maybe an inch difference or something. It's made in Japan as well. The Yamaha U1 coming in at 47.5, 48. And the T121 coming in at 47.5, 48, around the same cabinet, really, very similar. The Yamaha U1 has a longer music rack at 35 inches. You could put about 4 pages on there. The T121 has a music rack of about 30 inches, so for about 2-3 pages, one less page of music. The U1 seems to come with the same bench as the T121. Looks exactly the same to me. Let me know if in terms of cabinet they didn't put soft close on the T121, but that's not really an issue for me. I rarely see these fall over, and since it folds, it's unlikely to be pushed over by a hand or leaning on the music desk. I seem to have used the same caster on, this is a T121. This is the caster on the U1. On the inside it's very similar as well. It's got the very similar looking action. It has a Celeste rail, and the angle of the strings feels very similar. So I'm imagining the string length is similar, but we'll measure that. The 121 has this interestingly thick bass design, bridge design. I'm not sure if anyone can, a rebuilder can tell me more about this, but it's about 2 inches, 2¼ inches wide, which is very wide in the break point, but it does sound quite good on the break point. So the Soundboard grain, it's quite good. I'm not an expert in wood, but one of the things that I do know is that the tightness of the grain has to do with the age, the years of the tree, and more tightly packed is good for tone projection and resonance. So you're supposed to measure per inch, but you can see about, it's hard to measure that, but it's about maybe 20 there. But it varies a bit here, and just generally quite good. Also quite an acute angle on the bridge design here on the bass bridge. It goes really quite a large U shape there. Pedal trap works the same. So it's a very similar action on the U1. I think it's a different hammer, because we'll get there in a second, but the underlay is what makes me think that. But very similar design. It has a similar large U on the bass bridge, and the wood grain looks slightly more even on the Soundboard. I'm not sure how they make wood choices. Perhaps that's part of the difference in the models. The bridge also has the same 2¼ thickness on the break point. So very similar down here. The trap work is the same. It needs to be a bit dusted down here, but trap work is the same. No, so the grain is maybe a little bit tighter. I'm not going to count it right now in the camera, but it looks like it's about, I don't know, it looks a little bit more tight and more even than the other piano. So the first difference I can see here is that the hammer is, the underlay is different on these pianos. So I believe this is different quality hammer. Often you can get different hammer qualities from providers. They have different levels, like Arbor do. They have, I think, special press, and there's different ones. So it's probably a slightly inferior hammer, but sound-wise it's very good. It's very decent sound-wise. As I mentioned before, they make their own hammers in-house. And I believe they make their own actions fully themselves, Yamaha. Very similar action. This one has plastic parts on it, so does the other one. This is the T121. It has a plastic jack, Asian flanges. Dampers look about the same. This looks about 2 inches in the top treble, maybe 1.5 at the top. The scaling looks very similar. The treble damper make tiny bit longer. You can see the hammer is underlay is a purple color, which maybe a different line of hammers on this piano. That might have something to do with the tone difference, slightly better tone. I'd like to say one thing, and it's going to sound a bit pedantic from my part, and I'm sorry if it does. That is that the front panel is attached to the full board of the piano on the T121. It's screwed in here, and it makes it easier, quicker to take off and put back on again, which is good for speed of tuning and repairs and things like that. But the only thing is, it's very heavy. Well, for me, it's heavy, and I'm as you get older, it's going to get more heavier for the tuner. So it's a little bit concerning that it's that heavy, but it's very pragmatic, very pedantic on my part. But it's just the detail I thought was interesting. Now, here's the full board for the Yamaha U1, and this is the full board part, and then there'll be another part which is the front panel. So I think this is probably my preference because it weighs less, take off and on again. And unless you work out, the older you get, the harder it is for the tuner to lift heavy weight. Sometimes they don't take actions to their shop anymore because of the weight of the action. So if you can make it lighter by splitting it into two, I think that's probably a better thing. Before we go on any longer, I just wanted to share with you an exercise that I like to do as a warm up for my fingers, which I think is quite useful. My father invented it. The exercise goes like this. It's a whole tone scale. And you're going to go down in your left hand, and I'll put the score to a 9 with a 6 in it, in this case E flat. So sound wise, these pianos are very different. This is a bit brighter, the T121. It's a bit smoother on the U1. Apart from the hammer, I can't see any other differences. There's differences in the cabinet and in opening and closing the cabinet. Maybe the people that make the cabinet, slightly different team. Maybe the soundboard, the Bellyman, is a different quality, but very similar pianos. The hammers may be the thing that I've noticed. And if you know more, please let me know, because it's hard to tell with manufacturers what they've done differently. The grain of the soundboard may be a contributing factor, and the hammer, you can see it's a different hammer because of the underlay on the hammer. So just some thoughts there. Thank you for watching this video comparing the T121 with the Yamaha U1. Very close ages, 2008, 2014. So I can't tell too much about the piano that's different, except for maybe the hammers and maybe the people working on it, maybe the soundboard grain. There's a few little details that make it different. The tone is different, that's for sure. The T121's a bit brighter and less full, but it's not massive difference, and it's a solid piano for entry to intermediate level pianists. I think that's a comparison. The U1, I think perhaps they've kept it solid because it is their institutional piano, is their recording studio piano, and it has to be spot on for tone. But I would say that T121, at least the price range I've been seeing them, seems like it could be a good buy if you're a little bit, in more of a budget than the U1. So, but it's a good piano. It's a good piano. So good intermediate entry piano. My name's Evan Roberts. There's pictures and videos of the pianos we have in stock on our website. You can call, you can text, or you can email me. That information is on our website, and we have restoration services, tuning services as well. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.